be our lives on a Friday night so bright. The Coach J.B. Wallace Show is ready to ignite. From El Patron, we share the pride in the road. For the Prattville Lions, our hearts forever sold. So grab a seat, let's talk about the game. With host Chris Britt, we're here to stake our claim. Every play and every cheer, we'll relive it all. From touchdowns to coaching tips, together we stand tall. This is our moment, let's ride on through the fray. We're roaring like the Lions, fierce and proud. On Dixie Country we'll draw in the crowd. With every pass and tackle, our spirit set free. The Prattville Lions, they fight through adversity.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to week number 2 of the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We're coming to you live from El Patron Restaurant right here on Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville, Alabama. Already, we've got a good bit of the Lions faithful here tonight for some delicious Mexican cuisine. We would invite you to join us if you're listening to us on Dixie Country 100.1. Those of you watching us on Facebook, welcome to the show as well. And then, of course, the man the show's named after, Coach J.B. Wallace. Coach, how you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. So good to see you tonight. So glad to be able to connect, talk a little football. And, Coach, let's just jump right in. It was well, every offseason's kind of long.
Mm-hmm.
They seem that way anyway. And a lot of changes, new staff, and a lot of anticipation going into Game 1. And Game 1's under our belt. Let's talk about last week just a little bit.
Gotcha. Well, huge matchup, man, last week against a great opponent.
Pike Road Patriots. I mean,
they're a good team.
State champions 2 years ago, runner-up last year.
That's right. And that was, part of the reason why we wanted to get them on the schedule. We wanted to get tested early. Because we're going into a tough region. And didn't want the first time that we seen on an opponent like that to be region play. Mm-hmm. So we had a lot of things we could clean up. But I think overall our guys, they handled things well. There was a lot of differences from the first game, even being the location where we played.
Yeah.
That
home
took
away
a lot
from
of work.
home.
Home away from home. That took some work from our guys to get acclimated with that environment and acclimated with playing a game there. We practiced there a few times before we even played the game. So, it was almost where I was like, okay, let's get ready for this ride again. But it wasn't so bad after all. We planned for it, and the city of Wetumpka did a great job stepping in and making us feel at home and all that kind of stuff. So I want to thank them for that, and I want to thank our school system for allowing us to be able to go there and have a home field at their place.
Yeah, hopefully you can get to listen to it during halftime, but the mayor of Wetumpka came on, maybe you caught it after the fact, but he was part of the halftime show, and it's really neat seeing the two communities work together.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, back to the game, man. The Lions came in on top 41-37, the way we wanted it to go.
Yeah, it turned out anytime you get a win, that's kind of what you want. And,
right.
It started off, we scored on the opening kickoff of the season. I don't think you could draw it up any better than that.
That's a good way to get started.
That's the way we started. Donovan Brown had a huge return. They had 2 huge returns.
Yeah.
Thursday night, but we started off with a touchdown kickoff return, and we came out, played some very solid defense early on. Offense on both sides, they kind of went back and forth, and it took us a while to get going. Took them a while to get going or whatever, and ultimately before half, our offense kind of got some things going and never slowed down. So, got on fire.
I believe it was 5 straight possessions were scoring possessions.
Yes, sir.
Ending in the first quarter and going through the first half,
right.
Going into the second half.
Correct. Yeah, it was 5 straight possessions, man. And once we got going, like I said, quarterback got in the groove. Everything started to, be in sync, and started moving the ball and putting the ball in the end zone, which is always good. When your offense putting the ball in the end zone.
Yeah.
Defensively, if it's one thing that we can take away from that is we had to improve on getting the ball out. I don't think we got the takeaways and turnovers like we wanted. So That's been a huge emphasis this week on getting that ball out. But I think overall, they started off strong, and then we had to regroup after some things, early in the second quarter, and then they picked back up and started playing stellar defense again.
Yeah. Fantastic. And like you said, it sounded like I wasn't able to be there. I was listening to the game. The first quarter was just slugging at defense against defense. Neither team, like you said, was able to get a whole lot of offense together early.
Right. Yeah. It took us a while. Like I said, I mentioned before, we had minimum film on their opponent. They had minimum film on us, because we got some changes in our coordinators. They got changes in their coordinators. So we were kind of just guessing in the dark on who we thought they were. based on what we knew.
Right.
And I think, once our offensive staff kind of figured them out, this is who they are. And especially, we were able to pinpoint where they were by formation we were in. I think they were able to start putting things together and move. It just took a while. The same for them. They really had no clue who we were. We're totally different than we were last year. So it took them a while to kind of figure some things out. But like I said, over and all, we adjusted and we got it done. Man, we had some guys perform well Friday night.
Yeah.
Starting with our signal caller with Gavin Rigdon.
Yeah.
Man, he had a huge night. 159 yards, I believe. I think he had 2-3 touchdowns or something like that. Man,
If you asked him, and it was 6.
Huh?
If you asked him, it was 6.
Well, yeah.
That's how the quarterback always looks at it, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's how that worked, man. But he got rolling, man. And did some very good things, man. And even ran the ball for us well in some crucial moments.
Yeah.
Our offensive line, I can't be more proud of them for how they showed up and played Thursday night. I keep saying Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm used to playing
it's
on
hard,
Friday.
hard to wrap your mind around a Thursday game.
Right. Yeah, but, man, they played well. They kind of, came together at the right times, and we were able to move the ball. They were able to protect Gavin pretty well, and we were able to get some good throwing lanes in there, and he completed some good balls. Brody Bowman, kind of had a breakout game. He scored 2 touchdowns, and I was glad to see him get going. Man, he's really a threat, man. Once he gets going and gets his groove, man, he can catch the ball, on a 5-yard hitch and take it a distance, or he can take the top off. And we were very close to connecting to him twice on that as well, on deep balls. Of course, KJ Blue playing some receiver for us. Also came in, played running back. Man, did extremely well for that. KJ had 71 yards rushing, or 70 yards rushing. Had a few catches, man, so he had a huge night for us. Had that clutch touchdown run at the end to kind of seal the deal on that game. But he had a huge night. That ball touched 5 different receivers.
That's something.
5 different receivers that were able to catch the ball and make something happen.
Yeah.
A lot of new faces and things like that. Tristan Blackman, first year playing running back for us. 67 yards rushing, had a touchdown, ran the ball hard for 4 quarters.
I had a friend contact me and say, "Who's that running back? He's a tank."
Yeah,
was the word he used.
He's a good-sized kid, man.
Yeah.
And he runs it hard, and a great kid too.
Yeah.
Great character kid. Always works hard. I've never seen him where he's not working hard. He's not doing everything to detail. That's one thing that jumps out about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give us a little bit, defense side of the ball. Some standouts there, some guys that showed up. And then I got another point I was excited about. I want to bring to you in a minute. But let's talk about the defensive side of the ball first.
Well, it all started in the trenches.
Right.
I think D-line wise, I think we had a huge night. Up front. We had guys like Jake McConnell with 6 tackles, and Callahan Minor with 7 tackles, and Jamar Reed came in and played strong for us. So guys like that lead the tank. We had Elijah Brown. He did some good things. I mean, I think it was a great night D-line wise by committee. And we went. I think we may have played maybe 9 guys, maybe close to 9 guys.
That's awesome. Had some young ones getting involved.
Yeah, we did. And those guys have earned the right to get involved and get some reps. So. But we did. We went down the depth chart pretty good D-line wise. I felt good about those guys that we were able to get in.
That's fantastic.
Of course, Sam Cook won an accolade this week, Player of the Week with 19 tackles. So he played well.
19 tackles.
19
That's a big
tackles.
number.
He was all over the field.
Yeah.
He's all over the field. But guess what? He was all over the field at practice too.
Right.
Yeah. So that wasn't anything new to us. Trey Rawlinson stepped in and played well at linebacker for us, and Tim Rawlinson had a huge night for us. Now, Tim, and we'll talk about some awards later, but man, just Tim's special teams play. Man, he was phenomenal on kickoff team running down there, and Tim has a huge role for us on special teams, be it kickoff, be it our punt team and things like that. We got some special things we have in play for him. So, but he had a huge night, man. He put a lot of miles on that night, but he regrouped and all that kind of stuff. But, when you look at what he done on special teams, I mean, he laid it on the field. But he did that last year.
Sure.
He was a special teams player of the week about every week.
And a bit of a leader.
He's a leader. He is a leader. Secondary-wise, man, DJ Walton, I think he led the secondary with 7 tackles. He's not a returning starter. He's kind of new to the secondary, man. He's grown into the role. Communicating well. Chris Clare had a stellar night in the secondary, and then I think we played maybe 4 or 5 corners.
How about that?
And all those guys are just chomping at the bit to get an opportunity, and they got in and they performed well.
Yeah. Well, and that leads me to what I want to talk about a little bit, and we'll touch on it, and then Stacey will let us know when we need to go to a break, because I know we're getting close. But listening to the game, there weren't a whole lot of flags thrown on. I mean, I don't know, I'm used to seeing a lot of yellow for pass interference. I don't know if there was a single one Thursday night. So talk about that discipline a little bit maybe. Or I don't even discipline's the right word. But clean play, we'll call it that.
Yeah, and that's on both sides. I don't think they had a lot of either, So, we had a huge night. Just being able to line up and play with detail and not, doing things to shoot us in the foot and 15-yarders here and offsides. Pre-snap penalties were non-existent.
Yeah.
So that's always a great
That's hard
night.
to do at the high school level. These are young kids, and they performed at that level of discipline. That's pretty fantastic.
It was, and if we can just get there and do it again this week, it's going to be crucial to be able to play another mistake-free game this week as far as penalty-wise goes.
Right.
I was impressed with that, though. Anytime you don't get pre-snap penalties, it's a lot to be said for that.
Oh, yeah.
And our offense has been phenomenal.
And you won't say it, but that's a nod to the coaching staff. That's you and your guys.
Well, yeah, that's something they preach all the time as well, and I do.
Yeah.
Just the detail and how we do things and stuff like that. But that starts in the off-season in the weight room.
Oh,
and
sure.
all that kind of stuff is, we're going to start behind this line. We're going to start behind that line. That's how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And everybody, it's not just the coaching staff anymore. The kids are holding each other to that standard.
Hey.
And so, when they're holding each other to that standard, I feel real good about it.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Coach, that's a wonderful first segment, and there was a great catch-up on last week's game. But, folks, those of you listening to us on the radio or watching us on Facebook, there's a whole lot of show ahead, so don't turn that dial or move that screen at all. We want you to stay in with the J.B. Wallace Show. So those of you listening to Dixie Country 100.1, join us here at El Patron. Come on by. We'd love to have you for dinner. Those of you watching on Facebook, thanks for being part of the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We'll be right back after this break.
Hey guys, it's Chris Britton, host of the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We're so excited to be coming to you live each week from my favorite Mexican restaurant, El Patron Mexican Grill, at 2152 Cobbs Ford Road, right across the street from Larry Puckett's Chevrolet. They got a huge menu with all of your favorite authentic Mexican dishes. My kids love it. In fact, they get a free drink with their kids' meal, so that's an awesome perk. If you go on a Sunday after church, bring your bulletin with you, you get a 10% discount. My personal favorite is the chicken chimichanga. It's fantastic. El Patron Mexican Grill in Prattville.
For well over 50 years, the river region has depended on Arrow Pest Control, which has grown to be one of the largest and most respected pest control science leaders in the area. Pest control is a science that eliminates pests that invade and potentially damage your property. They use only the top-rated pest control products, including the Centricon Termite Colony Elimination System. Arrow Pest Control was built on customer service and satisfaction, and that's still #1 today. Call us, 334-365-4610, and find out about mosquito control. Arrow, your best shot for pest control.
It's the Make This the Summer event at Stivers and no payments until November. New Ram 2500s, $20,000 off. Or new Ram 1500 Bighorns, get $13,000 off. Only at
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
Only Stivers has 0% APR financing for up to 36 months during the Make This the Summer event. Upgrade to Grand Cherokee, Wrangler, Gladiator, or Compass with no interest financing for 3 years for a limited time at
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
Welcome back, Prattville Lions Nation. Welcome to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. I'm Chris Britton, your host, coming to you live from El Patron Mexican Restaurant right here in Prattville on Cobbs Ford Road. We're so glad that you've tuned in. We got a lot of people live here tonight. In fact, if the live folks can hear me, y'all make some noise real quick so people know you're here. Yeah. We got a big chunk of the Lion Nation here, so you're missing out if you're not joining us here at El Patron, so come on down. Well, Coach, we were talking about last week's game, and let's kind of continue along that theme for just a little bit more. We were talking about how clean the game was, penalty-wise, penalty-free. Who were some standout? I know you got some awards that are given out. Mm-hmm. We're going to hold one back for a little bit, but let's talk about those other ones that were for this past week.
All right. We every week we do a offensive player of the week, defensive player of the week, special teams. We'll have a money team player of the week.
And you're going to have to explain that when we come up to it, because that's one of my, not favorite, but I really like that one.
I'm telling you, it's one of my favorite, man, because I think that's a character award as well.
Yeah.
And a kid has to care about his own skill set and care about his craft to come out there and be great at that. because you know that's how you get better as a unit. So that's one of my favorites. I go ahead and tell you it's one of my favorites. But our offensive player of the week, man, came from a guy that I mentioned earlier, Brody Bowman.
Yeah.
Had 2 touchdowns.
So a breakout ball game.
Yes, he did. And you know, expected more of that. But he was our offensive player of the week. Defensive player of the week was Sam Cook.
How many tackles?
19 tackles.
That's ridiculous.
19 tackles. And I'm pretty certain.
Video game numbers.
I'm sure he's probably want to argue with Coach Brown a little bit for 20, because I know Coach Brown's grading him real tough.
That sounds like Coach Brown.
Oh yeah, he's grading pretty tough. Special teams player of the week was a guy with the 2 big returns that pretty much scored the first touchdown of the year and then put us in position to score again. That's Donovan Brown.
Yeah.
He was special teams player of the week. Now our money team player of the week. Some people call it scout team.
Yeah.
You know, it's more than that, man. Like, you know, like when we're playing against an opponent and they have a player that I know that may be a problem on Friday, we want to go and find the best guy to be him all week long. And we want you to be him better than he's him.
Yeah.
And, man, we had 2 guys. One of them is Brayton Graham, who came in and won it for our offense. Man, he was a problem all week at receiver.
Yeah.
Man, and he performed well, so I can't wait to see him get on the field.
And what year is he?
He's a junior.
Okay.
He's a junior. And then our money team defensive player of the week is a guy that plays D-line for us, and he plays some O-line as well. And you'll be hearing a lot from him in the future, but that's Cameron Ellis. He's an upcoming sophomore. Had a huge night, you know, giving our O-line a look and made a ton of plays last week. So that got him into the rotation this week for the D-line. So not only are you helping the team out, but that's how you get noticed. You know, if you can make plays versus our ones, that means you need to be repping with the ones. And so both of those guys, you'll see them this week.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, obviously last week was game 1 for the season, so it's been a whole off season of looking at guys from the same jersey, you know, the same team, same guys every day, new coaches, or a lot of new coaching staff, and I'm sure there were a lot of, not question marks, but in the guys' minds, like, we really don't know what we have right now, you know? We haven't played against anybody else yet. Well, we got 1 game under the belt. What has the response looked like this week in practice and leading up for a big game tomorrow night?
Well, of course, you know, the excitement in the program, the excitement that's going around the school right now. Everybody's excited about football. That's what you want. That's the environment that you want to create. You know, we had to come back in on Monday and kind of refocus everybody, and we know everybody had a big weekend and enjoyed the win, but it was time to get back on the grind. And especially with the opponent that we're playing this week, you got to definitely be focused for that. But, you know, we kind of refocus ourselves and reset some more goals, and this is what we're doing. We're worried about 1 game at a time. Our guys will tell you the most important game of the year is this game we have coming up tomorrow. And that's because it's the next game. They all will answer that. They'll tell you that. That's the most important. So it's going to be a Super Bowl for us. So we refocused and we went back to work, man. And I was very pleased with our team, man. We had a great week of football. You know, we had tons of time to meet. Those guys were locked in the meetings. They were locked in the weight room. Matter of fact, I got a clip on my phone when we started workouts the other day, and that thing started on fire. It was Monday. They just went in the weight room, and it was a heck of a workout.
That's awesome.
I was proud to see that, man. But they you know, grabbed the lunch pail and went back to work. And you know, we went through our normal week. You know, by Wednesday, that's what I call we're putting that hay in the barn by Wednesday. That's the more of a mental day, but it's the last physical day that we really have on Wednesday, and we had a good practice there. And then they came out this morning and man, had a great practice this morning. I mean, the focus was there. It was a lively practice. You know, you knew you were around something special when you were around it this morning, and you saw those guys communicating and really, you know, working well with each other and just playing as a unit. I saw that this morning.
That's exciting. That's great. One thing that I probably should have touched on or asked about regarding last week, so let's circle back a little bit to that game. We did, you know, mention it was our first game at our kind of home away from home for 1 year. What was it? How was the atmosphere, the fans, the student section? I mean, how did that contribute? Well, I know we got there rather early, and I think when we got there, the student section was packing in at the moment. You know, so they were there ready to go. I think I kind of suggested that we kind of relocate them on the other end of the bleachers. Yeah. They didn't like that. They wanted to be next to the band, and I said, hey, let them turn them loose. Turn them loose. They wanted to be next to the band. Man, they were loud. That's awesome. They were loud, and the environment was great, man. I mean, we packed it out. It was a packed house, just like Prattville was supposed to be. That's right. You know, I mean, it's our home stadium, but even when we go other places, I mean, people remember Prattville when they come. I termed it the jungle's just spreading northeast, you know? Hey, well, until we can get back to our stadium, that's right, just for a little while. That is the jungle.
young until we get there.
That's right.
But it was a great environment, man. Like I said, the city of Wetumpka did a great job, man, stepping in and helping us feel at home. So great environment for some football.
That's awesome. Well, one of the privileges I get, I've been able to be a part of some of the pep rallies last couple of years. And, of course, last week they had one being opening day. And that first one, there's just something extra exciting about that. Talk a little bit about that and the whole student body involvement in that.
Yeah, well, I tell you this, it wasn't a lot of kids sitting down playing with their cell phones or talking amongst each other. They were engaged, and you know, our cheerleading coach, Miss Smith, she did a great job putting that together. And I think when we come in there, you know, we kind of, and I'm gonna tell you, she's a stickler about what time we come in there too. Like, we got to be on time and we got to be ready to go. But when we were there and it was time for us to make our approach in, I mean, we got there, it was a live atmosphere.
Yeah.
So, you know, the cheerleaders were doing their thing, the band was doing their thing, the students were engaged, they had, you know, games that they played, man, it was just great to be in there. We had a DJ in there that was rocking it too.
Well, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, he set the tone in there, so it was great.
It was definitely a good time, and it's fun to see just everybody come around that. Anyway, a lot of fun. So, let's see. I want to save some things for the next segment. So let's circle back on individual performances this past week, or really just let's talk preparation again. We got a game tomorrow night. What's the prep look like for the upcoming game?
Well, like I told you, we had to kind of refocus,
Sure.
you know, and refocus our goals. And we're playing a team of a different style this week, so we kind of had to practice a little different on how we're doing. I mean, there is no doubt about it. Stanhope is going to be a physical ball team. They're always a physical ball team. So, you know, we had to go back and get that mindset that we're going into a physical war type of game. Like, they play a different style of football, and their guys are aggressive. So, you know, we got to go in and we got to match it and we got to exceed it. And that's kind of the style of play that we have to adopt as well.
Right.
You know, and I know we'll probably talk more about our opponent later on.
Oh, certainly.
You know, but they're run heavy. You know, they're going to run the ball, and we know that. So we got to be prepared to stop it. They got great athletes, always have great athletes.
Yeah,
So
and going to be well coached from top to bottom.
Well
It's going to be a tough ball game because, just like you said, the next game's always going to be the Super Bowl for us. I mean, it's the biggest game. But no doubt, same thing for them.
Yeah, they've been looking for this one just like we've been looking for it.
Right.
You know, and I think some of the kids may have mentioned that they were at our game the day before, you know, on Thursday watching us play Pike Road. So, you know, they were anxious to see what we would look like and all that, you know, but that's just part of it. You know, that's part of the rivalry between the two.
Great rivalry, and has been for years.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, fans, we thank you for joining in tonight. There's a whole lot of Coach J.B. Wallace show still to come, but we're so glad that you've tuned in on Dixie Country 100.1. Those of you who watch us on Facebook, on the Prattville Alive Network. And we got a whole bunch of people here at El Patron Restaurant that are enjoying some fantastic Mexican food tonight. If you are anywhere out in the city and you want to come by and join us, there's still room for you. You can get into Go Lions here and there. We'll let you come by. You're listening to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We'll be right back after this break.
Hey guys, it's Chris Britton, host of the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We're so excited to be coming to you.
Durbin Auto Parts on South Memorial Drive is proud to be a supporter of Prattville Lions Athletics. As your locally owned CarQuest dealer, the Durbin family assures you that they'll get the right parts the first time. They also carry the full line of steel power equipment and die-hard batteries. When you do business with Durbin Auto Parts, your money stays in Prattville so they can support the local community and great programs like Prattville Lions Athletics. Durbin Auto Parts, 948 South Memorial Drive, Prattville.
Think local. Think of all the skill and talent found right here in our community. Hands that build, hands that feed, teach, protect, and hands that heal. Guardian Credit Union reaches out to people just like you. Handling loans for new cars, opening doors to new homes, saying yes to fun and adventure. When you need a strong, steady financial hand, think local. Think Guardian.
It's the Make This the Summer event at Stivers and no payments until November. New Ram 2500s, $20,000 off. Or new Ram 1500 Bighorns, get $13,000 off. Only at
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
Only Stivers has 0% APR financing for up to 36 months during the Make This the Summer event. Upgrade to Grand Cherokee, Wrangler, Gladiator, or Compass with no interest financing for 3 years for a limited time at
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
Well, welcome back, Prattville Lions Nation. You are tuned into the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We thank you for tuning in, being part of the show tonight. Well, Coach, we have come up to the part of the show. We didn't get to do it last week because we had to have a game in place so that we could recognize a Pepsi Buffalo Rock Player of the Week. Will you tell us a little bit about the young man that was awarded that recognition this week?
Yeah, starting off, man, he's a 3-year starter for us. He's been starting for us since he was a sophomore. Man, hard worker, does everything the right way, high character guy, heck of an athlete. He's playing multiple positions for us this year and actually made plays at all of them. That last interception that we didn't get, he actually broke on the ball. He didn't catch it, but he really deflected it. He got the PBU so our other DB can get the interception. So he made plays at running back, at receiver, and at safety. So we're excited about this year and how it's going for him. But this week, Pepsi Buffalo Rock Player of the Game is KJ Blue. KJ Blue, congratulations, buddy. Here's your plaque picture there. Congratulations on that, man. Let's walk through last week's game. I mean, it's a long off season. You finally got to take it onto the field and play against some other guys. What was it like last week?
It felt good.
Yeah.
Get out there on the field.
Sure.
Yes, sir. It's been a long summer.
Yeah. So, I mean, Coach mentioned it. You were in several different spots on the field. I mean, what was that like? Because traditionally you're a wide receiver. Yeah, hold that and just keep it close to your chin so it'll hear you real good. So traditionally, I've known you as a wide receiver, but man, you were all over the field last week. How was that, playing some different roles?
Felt great,
Yeah.
Just get to play all around the field, help the team out, do as much as I can.
So what you're telling me is if they call your name, you're ready to step up and go?
Yes, sir.
All right. I got a question. I was hanging out at practice yesterday, and y'all usually end with some offense-defense contest. It only took one play. Who ended it yesterday?
It was me.
Hey, all right. I saw that, Coach Dickerson. I mean, and I told Coach Dickerson I had a different angle than he had. The ball was right there, but you went and got it. Like it didn't just come to you. It was a great play. So congratulations on that. The quarterback had nothing to do with it. Okay, that guy over there had nothing to do with it. He's not even listening. He didn't hear. So, all right, 3-year starter. I mean, tell us a little bit about your journey through the Prattville program. What that's been like.
It been a kind of. I'd say it's been pretty hard.
Yeah.
Coming up,
Sure.
Had to work to get my position.
That's right.
And it was just rough coming up.
Well, and there's a fella, I don't know, Prattville's had some great receivers over the years. I mean, when you talk about Justin Alberts, the Moncriefs, things like that, a guy last name Shanks that was kind of you overlapped with him for a year, didn't you, or 1 year?
1 year.
Yeah, so what was that relationship like? I mean, he's a pretty good one. Did he kind of invest in you, help you out, play a role in your ability?
Yes, sir, he did. He played a big role in my ability for real.
Yeah, that's awesome. So with playing a lot of different spots last week, what's your favorite? Is it still receiver, or did you enjoy one of those other ones?
It's still receiver, but I enjoy playing.
Bring the mic up just a little. That's perfect, buddy. Oh, you're good. And why?
Receiver, I've been playing it my whole life. I can't let it go like that.
Okay.
But the other positions, I'm an athlete. I gotta play them.
There you go. That's awesome. Well, that's fantastic. All right, let's shift different gears just a little bit. We're getting some Facebook messages. Not really. I made that up. But the ladies want to know: do they have a chance right now, or are you sewed up at the moment?
I'm sewed up right now.
Okay. So there's a special lady. All the rest of them that are okay. Sorry, ladies. Just no chance for you. He's a one-woman man. All right, so let me ask you this. Favorite movie of all time? What's your favorite movie?
I'll probably say Bad Boys.
Bad Boys, all right. Any particular, like the whole series, any particular one of them?
I'd say the first one.
The first one's always the best one, right?
Yes, sir.
That's cool. All right, so when you're riding over to the stadium on the bus, who's on your phone? Who you listening to? Who you playing?
I'd say Rod Wave.
Okay, Rod Wave, okay. And so I guess he was in the locker room with y'all last week, but when DJ Haynes is bringing it in the locker room, what's your favorite? What's he playing that you love? Because he stays up on what the top stuff is.
I'd say it was a song like Body in the Air, something like that. I don't know.
Okay, but it helps you out?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, yeah, we need to pause for a brief station identification. We'll be right back with you on the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. J.B. Wallace Show.
WDXX, Selma, Prattville, home of Larry Puckett Chevrolet, where the customers do the talking.
Dixie Country.
All right, welcome back. Now, you kind of remind me a little bit, personality-wise, of Cam Shanks. We were talking about him earlier. Quiet guy, soft-spoken, but he was a quiet leader. What's your thoughts on, I mean, like it or not, you're a leader on this team. What do you think about that role as a leader, what that means?
I like the role of being a leader.
Yeah?
You got to step up.
Yeah.
I like it.
Do you ever find yourself the opportunity to maybe invest in those guys coming behind you? Because, I mean, there's some wide receivers that people are really excited about in that freshman and sophomore class. Are you able to kind of, not teach them, but kind of show them the way that you've been a little bit?
Yes, sir. I say, yeah, I play a big role in helping them and getting their routes and helping them with all these stuff.
That's fantastic. Well, Coach Wallace, why don't you talk about this young man just a little bit more?
You know, when he was a sophomore and he overlapped with Shanks, you mentioned that. You know, that's the first thing that I noticed, the similarities between the two, and personality and a lot of that kind of stuff. And the one thing that stood out to me, and I don't know if you remember, we were on the coach's show and they were talking about how excited they were to block for each other.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing I knew. I watched KJ when he was a freshman, and I saw him performing as a freshman. But then I didn't know that he was such a dedicated blocker. I mean, he's just as excited when the ball's not in his hand, when his teammates got the ball, than it is when he's got the ball. So, you know, that's a team first kind of guy to me. You know, a guy that'll block for his team and do all those things, and the dirty work that nobody wants to do. He steps up, and he's been doing that since he was a sophomore, and he's doing it now. But, you know, a lot of things that we're doing, you know, we build a lot of things for him. You know, so he gets the ball in his hand, he makes stuff happen.
That's fun, and again, that reminds me of that Shanks young man too.
Oh, yeah, which he plays tonight, by the way.
Hey, that's right. I'm about to catch them on TV. We were talking about that earlier today.
Yeah.
Well, KJ, congratulations, man. I wish you much luck and success tomorrow night, but throughout the rest of the year and through your career, buddy. Thank you so much for being a part of the show tonight.
Yes, sir.
All right, Coach, we got a minute, Stacy. Are we good, or you want to break? Keep going. I tricked him. Well, while he's looking at that, Coach, I want to reach back, and I think there was a couple of games on Monday this week for JV freshmen. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we had a JV and freshman game on Monday, which we're playing those home games at Marbury High School. And, man, they've done a lot of work at Marbury High School, too, as far as turfing the field and all that. That's a great, you know, campus, great facility and all that to play. But our freshmen played against Marbury, and they had a huge win Monday night, 41-7. You know, those guys, man, they've been practicing with us in the summer. They've been working out with us all year. And to see them come out and have fun and rally together and have some success, that was great. A lot of players stepped up there that really put themselves on the radar Monday night. After that game, our JV played versus Carver. And that was a slugfest. That was literally a four-quarter game. We fell a little short there. It was 14-6, JV versus Carver. But, you know, a lot of guys stepped up. We actually, and every year is like this, during that JV game, we're going to find a player or two that's going to find his way in the varsity rotation. And we found a guy that we put him in a different position, you know, just because we needed it at the moment. And, man, it's like he's been there all along.
Shined a little bit.
Yeah, so I can't wait to see us, you know, get him included into the game plan eventually and see him, you know, grow.
That's fantastic. So 1-1 on the night. And again, we're thankful that Marbury would allow us. Of course, it's in the same county. They're going to do that. But so thankful that they allow us to come out and use that for JV, for freshmen, also for flag football.
Yes,
playing out there as well. So big thanks to them. Well, fans, we're so glad that you have tuned in tonight. Those of you listening to us on the radio on Dixie Country 100.1. And again, we got a bunch of the Lions Nation right here at El Patron Restaurant, where we're coming to you live. If you're out and about in town, we've still got a good bit of Coach J.B. Wallace show left. So stop on in, enjoy some dinner and meet some Lions and some coaching staff. We'll have a lot of fun. Well, listen, you are tuned into the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We'll be right back after this break.
Primal Farm Center's your headquarters for hunting season. Dove season's around the corner.
Durbin.
Hey guys, it's Chris Britton, host of the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We're so excited to be coming to you live each week from my favorite Mexican restaurant, El Patron Mexican Grill, at 2152 Cobbs Ford Road, right across the street from Larry Puckett Chevrolet. They got a huge menu with all of your favorite authentic Mexican dishes. My kids love it. In fact, they get a free drink with their kids' meal, so that's an awesome perk. If you go on a Sunday after church, bring your bulletin with you, you get a 10% discount. My personal favorite is the chicken chimichanga. It's fantastic. El Patron Mexican Grill in Prattville.
For well over 50 years, the River region has depended on Arrow Pest Control, which has grown to be one of the largest and most respected pest control science leaders in the area. Pest control is a science that eliminates pests that invade and potentially damage your property. They use only the top-rated pest control products, including the Centricon termite colony elimination system. Arrow Pest Control was built on customer service and satisfaction, and that's still #1 today. Call us 334-365-4610 and find out about mosquito control. Arrow, your best shot for pest control.
It's the Make This the Summer event at Stivers and no payments until November. New Ram 2500s, $20,000 off. Or new Ram 1500 Bighorns, get $13,000 off. Only at
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
Only Stivers has 0% APR financing for up to 36 months during the Make This the Summer event. Upgrade to Grand Cherokee, Wrangler, Gladiator, or Compass with no interest financing for 3 years for a limited time at
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
Welcome back, Lions Nation. You're tuned into the Coach J.B. Wallace Show on Dixie Country 100.1. Also watching us on Facebook Live or Facebook Live with Prattville Alive. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Chris Britton, your host for the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. And Coach, it's always a treat each week to get to know some of your coaching staff. Now we've got a guy that's no stranger. He's new to the staff, but he's not new to the staff all at the same time. Talk a little bit about this guy to my right.
Yeah, to your right is our offensive coordinator, Coach Brian Dickerson. When we first came to Prattville in 2021, he came as well. He was offensive coordinator then. He and I coached together for a long time. We were at Marbury together and worked well. When we went there and man, we had a great time there. He and I coached together in Florence, and it was kind of something that came in fruition. We discussed it years ago. We kind of discussed that this was going to happen. We're going to be together one way or another. Be it I'm on his staff or he's on mine, but we're going to come together and we're going to coach. And it ended up working out. But, man, he's a guy, he was a head coach. He's got head coaching experience. So the experience he's bringing to the table now, being able to see some things that I might need to know, that he just goes and handles stuff because he knows it needs to be handled. And that's his mindset, man. He's attention to detail kind of guy. Passionate about the game, passionate about relationships and kids, man, and that's the most important thing.
Remembering your why. Why'd you do it?
Exactly,
kids,
and I think that's what makes him a great coach. And but we're glad to have him back and have him on the board. But that's Coach Brian Dickerson.
Well, Coach Dickerson, welcome to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. Good to have you here tonight.
Thank you.
Why don't you take us a little bit through your coaching history? Where'd you get started? What have been some stops along the way?
Oh man, long ride.
Yeah.
This is actually year 15 for me. I actually started back in 2010 at Carver, Birmingham, and then I went the next year. I was at John Carroll. I spent 2 years after that at OP, kind of really getting my teaching and coaching career under me. And then I got the call from Coach Wallace to come to Florence. Yeah. And me and him have been together ever since. We were there at Florence for those 4 years. Then we separated for a year. He went to Pike Road. I went to Pike Road. He went to Prattville, and then we ended up at Marbury, and then we come to Prattville and get this thing rolling, and that opened up a door that I said I wanted, and I really enjoyed the opportunity to be a head coach. It was great, but it's still nothing like being in the jungle. So I went to Sheffield, did that for 2 years, and when that phone call came, he said, "Hey, are you interested?" I said, "What day can I come back home?" And so, I always said, if I'm going to work for anybody else, he's going to be a guy that I consider one of my closest friends in the world. We really do this thing together, and you can trust him at his word, and he can take me at mine, and I want to make sure I always do what's best for ourselves in the program.
Yeah, well, welcome back. Like I said, it's so good to have you back on the staff, and I know the kids are enjoying that. Why don't you talk about last week's performance? I want to hear your perspective on it, just on the offensive side. Coach Wallace told us a bunch about it, but tell us about some highlights and things you remember.
It was exciting just being back in that atmosphere.
Yeah.
People that have not been away from Prattville, and they don't understand the love and the excitement that comes to the stadium when the
Lions
come in. and just having that adrenaline rush again felt great. And our kids prepared so well.
Yeah.
this isn't something we started doing in the summer. When I got back here in February, that process started. And I said, hey, man, we're going to be disciplined, we're going to be fast, we're going to be physical, and we're going to do it together. I said, we have what it takes in this group to go as far as we want to go. And those kids believed in it, and even when things got kind of slow starting the other night, they never wavered.
Yeah.
And so from our offensive line, and we've had some staff changes even when I got back. I've added, we brought in a new O-line coach that was going to come in and be our freshman coach, but then when Coach Myers got promoted to take opportunity at the college level, he stepped right in. Coach Goebel's done a heck of a job with those guys, and they believe in him and they believe in what we're doing. Then we brought in Coach Page to coach running backs and help with our strength program, and then we already had, everybody knows Smooth and Coach Warren have been here doing a heck of a job with the receivers. Yeah. And it was so good just to have Warren understood. He's worked with me since 2019 at Marbury. And then so everything just kind of came together, and there's no question about people doing their job at a high level and us having trust in each other to go get it done. And having Gavin Rigdon in my room 3 years ago when he was a freshman, and then being able to coach him his senior year is very special to me.
Well, it's like you've come back and everybody's already speaking the same language. There's no change, because a lot of times that is a hurdle to get over with a new coordinator. I don't think it's been like that, has it?
Right. And it was, hey, let's hit the ground running. Hey, we're going to make some changes, but you already know what you know, so let's add on to those things. And we just kind of really believed in each other. They understand the standard. And something crazy, because it's crazy, those boys every afternoon before practice, they come sit in my office before we have a meeting, and they just want to talk. And those are relationships that last a lifetime.
That's huge.
And so when they're coming in and they're spending those times, and then we're spending the extra time watching film, they're not playing because, yes, they're playing for the Power P like they all do,
right,
but they're playing for our relationship.
Yeah.
And they say, Coach, there's no way we're going to let you down. I said, guys, I'm always saying, prepared. I'm never going to let you down.
Yeah. Well, and I've heard Coach Wallace say it. I've heard you say it. If it's more important to you to play for the guy beside you, then you're going to be better off than you would have playing for the guy inside that jersey.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And that just goes a long way of caring for the other guys, and you trust them to do their job. And I mean, we didn't have the offensive line turning around looking at the quarterbacks and the running backs. They knew they had a job to do, and they trust that Hawks named Tristan Blackman running behind them.
Yeah.
And they're going to do a good job. And when we can get the ball to the skilled guys we have with that offensive line, they're a really good group together, and I'm looking forward to seeing them grow and just continue to be a better version of themselves every day. And we're challenging them. And I tell them, hey, Monday through Thursday is going to be unrealistic, so Friday's easy.
Yeah.
And so they're starting to really buy into those things. And that Fast 48 slogan is not a slogan, it's a way of life for us.
Yeah.
And so they really buy into that, and we want to have that 4th and 1 mentality. Hey, we're going to be physical. Hey, you're not going to stop us and be better at being us than we are.
That's right.
And so they just come out, and we want to take that into everything we do, and just not just going through the motions, but really living it. Because I say, like I told them this morning when we got done, I said, guys, you never know when it's over.
Yeah.
And so this is going to go by a lot faster than what you think. So make sure you hold on to every single snap, every practice, every walkthrough, and so we can go and come back to miles every opportunity.
You know, that's one of the fun things listening to the game last week. There were a couple of times where, you know, we maybe fell down by, 10 points, maybe a couple of touchdowns, but there was never any quit. There was never any ducking back. I didn't hear anybody talking about pointing fingers. They just kept focused. We will win this game.
Definitely. And that's funny that you say that. We went through fall camp and everything. We talked about one guy. It was, hey, we're one guy away from making a big play. We're one guy away from being perfect right here. So, and we were able to, right before halftime, we went down and we had that big drive to go and finish it and cut it to one score right there. And then we come back and we made a couple of adjustments and we were on fire.
Yeah.
And number one, the coaches give me the proper information so that I can get us into the right call. And those kids are going out and playing hard. And the Swiss Army knife from KJ Blue, he's going to come out and he's going to make plays, and we just spread the ball around. I told these guys, I said, hey, guys, if you play fast, you play hard, you will get the ball.
Yeah.
I said, but you got to do it together, and it's got to be about more than just you. I said, the stats will come because people recruit winners. And so we're winners together, and Gavin does a heck of a job taking what the defense gives him and just believing in what we're doing. I was like, don't overthink the call, just do what we tell you to do. And just being able to play fast, and the faster we play, the more of an opportunity it gives us to be successful is what we feel like.
That's fantastic. All right, so you personally, or not personally, but philosophy-wise, I mean, some guys are, I'm a run guy, I'm a pass guy, I'm a balance guy, I'm a whatever the card, the hand that was dealt to me, I'm going to play to those guys. How would you define yourself or describe yourself?
We're going to force the tempo, number one.
Yeah.
And so now we look at leverage, grass, and numbers, really.
Yeah.
And so what's the leverage that the defense is giving us? Because we're gonna be able to throw out underneath stuff. All right, we're going to be able to run the football, and we're going to take our shots. And you got to get ready to do it every 17 seconds. And so I'm always trying to stay a couple plays ahead so that we can do the things that we have to do offensively. So I want to protect our defense. And out of our 8 goals last week, we hit 5 or 6 of those. And so being able to hit those, and the number one thing on my board is no pre-snap penalties. And so we really did a really good job of that.
That's big.
And we didn't turn the ball over, thank God. And because we started every day with ball security. And because we tell them, hey, the ball is the game. You can't win the game if you don't have the ball. So being able to do that, and we still want to be better on third down, but when we got in the fourth quarter, that fourth quarter program that we do, there was no quit in it. And it turned over into what we needed it to be. When they called that timeout, and they looked at me, and I called the play, and they knew exactly what was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to go 65, but I knew we were going to get the first down. And so that's something that was huge, and it was almost like deja vu, because I remember 2021 we go down to Theodore, and we're a very similar situation, and we fumbled that ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, let's go finish this time. We've been here before.
Yeah.
And so now they understand, and now those kids know how to win.
Yeah.
They beat a quality football team in a close game. So now we can go and do those things, and we're one step away from hitting a couple more deep balls and really putting that thing away earlier.
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure we continue to get better in every aspect of our game, because, like I tell them, between week 1 and week 2 is where you get the most improvement.
Yeah.
And so if we do those things, we can steady improve every week, and we don't take anybody for granted. I said, hey, yes, it's Stanhope, but it's still a faceless opponent. We want to go win. We want to go dominate.
Fantastic. Well, Coach Wallace, I know you talked about this guy a little bit. Obviously, there's a great relationship here. Talk about him a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about how we started coaching together our first year when we were at Florence, but man, it goes way back. He was my college I say roommate. I mean, we lived beside each other, so we were on the same college football team, and built a great relationship there as teammates, and that's where the brotherhood starts. So, he's not only do I see him as a great friend, but I mean, he's like a brother. I mean, I trust him, and man, he's passionate about what he does. I won't even talk about where he played high school ball, but let's just say he loves being in the jungle now. We won't discuss where he played high school ball.
You got to tell me that off the air.
Yeah, we'll tell you that off the air.
Okay. So the fan out watching or listening, they don't get to hear that.
No, they don't hear that.
Well, fans, we are so glad that you are tuned in to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show tonight. Coach Dickerson, thanks for being a part of the show as well. We thank those of you listening to us on Dixie Country 100.1. Come visit us. We're at El Patron Mexican Restaurant right here in Prattville on Cobbs Ford Road. Thanks to those of you watching us on the Prattville Live Network as well. You're listening to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We'll be right back right after this break.
Hey guys, it's Chris Britton, host of the Coach.
Durbin Auto Parts on South Memorial Drive is proud to be a supporter of Prattville Lions Athletics. As your locally owned CarQuest dealer, the Durbin family assures you that they'll get the right parts the first time. They also carry the full line of steel power equipment and die-hard batteries. When you do business with Durbin Auto Parts, your money stays in Prattville so they can support the local community and great programs like Prattville Lions Athletics. Durbin Auto Parts, 948 South Memorial Drive, Prattville.
Think local. Think of all the skill and talent found right here in our community. Hands that build, hands that feed, teach, protect, and hands that heal. Guardian Credit Union reaches out to people just like you. Handling loans for new cars, opening doors to new homes, saying yes to fun and adventure. When you need a strong, steady financial hand, think local. Think Guardian.
It's the Make This the Summer event at Stivers, and no payments until November. New Ram 2500s, $20,000 off. Or new Ram 1500 Bighorns, get $13,000 off. Only at
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
Only Stivers has 0% APR financing for up to 36 months during the Make This the Summer event. Upgrade to Grand Cherokee, Wrangler, Gladiator, or Compass with no interest financing for 3 years for a limited time at
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
Welcome back, Prattville Lions Nation. We're so glad that you're tuned into the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. I'm your host, Chris Britton, and we're so glad that you are a part of the show this evening. Well, Coach, we talked about last week's game, a little bit of the prep. We'll get to tomorrow night in a minute. But tragedy struck in high school football last week with a young man over at Morgan Academy in Selma. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that and your whatever you'd like to say in regard to that.
Yeah, man, it was definitely a tragic event. with that young man, Taylor, if I think his last name.
Taylor.
Taylor, yeah, man, it was tragic. That's something that, as a parent, as a coach, that's something that, I don't think anyone wants to go through. You don't want to deal with it. As a coach, I know we do a lot of training for incidents like that. If this happens, this is how you respond, because it could be a number of things. But man, when I saw the news and I saw that on there, man, my heart goes out to that family. It goes out to his parents, the school, the community, because that's a tough situation.
Oh, it makes you think, what if it was mine? You can't help but internalize that.
Correct. And I don't know all the details to it, on how it happened, but I'm certain, that whatever was the case, I'm certain there's a lot to be learned from that, going forward. And that's things like that you got to take it serious, because I know parents entrust us with their kids and entrust us to take care of their youngins, and I definitely don't take that lightly, and I don't think any coach does.
Yeah, and it's a definite tragedy, and it's a terrible thing that happened. Now, I don't know a whole lot about it either. I've seen a few Facebook posts, and what I can see already, just out of a statement from the family and some close friends, I see a bit of a testimony, even a glory to God type thing going on through it. So while it doesn't return a young man whose life was lost, but gosh, I guess I use the word not even silver lining, but a positive in the midst of that storm. Have you seen some stuff like that as well?
Yeah, and you never know until these things happen, but I can just tell from some of the posts I saw how many people that he touched, how many people that he affected, and just to read some of the things that were posted about him, man. I mean, he seemed to be a tremendous young man, and he seemed to be contagious with how he, kind of just elaborated with people and been around people. And I could tell that he was a leader, and I can tell he's just a great overall kid, man.
Yeah. Well, our hearts, our thoughts, our prayers are with that school and obviously with that family as well, and we hate that happened, and just pray for the best and for quick healing for that program, for those families, everybody involved there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Coach, as we shift our gears back here, obviously it's been a week of preparation and like you said, every week is the Super Bowl, every week is the biggest game, but there's a little extra feel to it because of the rivalry in this one.
Right. Yeah, that's right across the interstate.
Yeah.
As coaches, as players, you live with the people across the interstate. You live with them. And you grew up playing Little League with them if you were a player. You grew up doing everything with them. So this game's got a lot riding on it. Yeah. And then guess what? When you graduate high school, you're still going to be around them. I mean, most of the time they're family anyway. Yeah. So there's a lot riding on this game, and it's been that way, man. But it makes for great high school football. Yeah. It makes for a great game, when you have a rivalry like this, and they want to beat us just as bad as we want to beat them. So it's all about who can put the best product on the field and get it done.
That's right. Yeah. So week of preparation, what's practice been like? I mean, what's been the attitude? What's been the energy level? How's it been?
Energy's been great, man. Yeah. I think one of the turning points so far that I think we've done when we had the overnight camp or whatever, and our team kind of just developed into another mindset for a team, and they've taken that and they run with it. And the biggest thing that I challenge them to have fun. We talk discipline all the time. We talk discipline in January. We talked about, the process and how to do things and hard work, but then let's have fun, because I think the little things that they were doing, it shows that the lessons they were learning from coaches and from the program itself, it was seeping in and they were getting better there. But, let's have fun in the process. I told them I have a problem when you make a big time play on Friday night and you ain't celebrating. Yeah. Now there's a way to do everything. You celebrate with your teammates. But man, you have fun. You work hard so you can celebrate in those moments. And so that's been the energy level, man. They've been having fun and they've been getting out, getting work done. And I was so pleased to see them this morning at practice, just how they handled things. So business-like, but then they were having fun, and the energy was there. I mean, as you can see, man, these guys, you can see here, they have fun being around each other. And that's one thing about this
they
group.
like each other.
Oh, yeah. It's obvious, man. And just like you see them in here, they're like that all the time. And that's what I want as a coach. I want our team to have fun. And, the D-line came out with us tonight, but you see other positions sprinkling in. I mean, they spend time. You see one, you see 20.
There's receivers, there's quarterbacks, there's everybody.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I like as a team. those guys getting out and being able to enjoy each other and playing as a family, because we are family.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, tomorrow night, obviously, the focus is on that team from on the other side of the interstate, Stanhope Elmore, the Mustangs. What are we going to see out of there? Again, not much film, but what do you see? I've heard some big numbers out of the running back last week, and they're a really good ball game with them out of your previous school, Marbury, last week. What are we looking for?
Well, I'll say this, and I'm going to give hats off to Marbury. Played a hard game.
I heard they played excellent.
Yeah, they went after them now, and you know, just to watch that and see where that program has come. They competed against a opponent like that, and but they got after them pretty good. But you know, those athletes at Stanhope, you know, they're a little different. So we got our hands full with that running back.
Yeah.
You know, just looking at the film and kind of just, I'll say, reading the tea leaves a little bit. I think it's going to be a smash mouth type of night. You know, I think they're going to get in some formations, and you're not going to know who's going to have the ball, the quarterback or the running back. Something familiar that we've seen in the past from a school. And I think that's the kind of game that we're going to have to play, you know, coach against. You know, I think they're going to try to shorten the game. They're going to, you know, play power football. They're going to run power counter, and they're going to dare us to stop it. And that's what it boils down to. So we've challenged our guys all week to stop that kind of play, you know, stop that kind of mindset. And they got athletes, man. A quarterback, he's dangerous when that ball's in his hand. He's dangerous. So, you know, just being able to coach our guys up and having eye discipline. You got to have eye discipline, because they're going to give you some eye candy, and sometimes you got to trust what you see. You know, if you trust what you see, you're going to be in position. So teaching our guys to do that, and they've done a great job. That's what it's going to take. Defensively, man, you know, they're going to, you know, probably play a bear type of front where they're going to try to stop the run. They want to force the ball in the air. I think that's the approach that they're going to take from what I can see on film. You know, they're going to dare us to throw it. And but you know, I know Coach Dickerson. I know, you know, we build this thing on running the ball, and so we got to find a way to move the chains and run the ball. But you know, it's one of those situations to where we don't get stops on defense. You know, then that game's going to go. You know, it's going to end pretty quick, because I feel certain that they're going to run the ball.
Yeah. All right, so it is a road game, but ironically, it's a little bit closer than our home games this year. Easy drive is what I'm getting at for the fans to get over there tomorrow night. What does that mean to have a big crowd show up?
Well, I'll say this, and some people have commented on it, but they're exactly right. You know, this game is closer to us than our home game for this year.
Right.
So, man, you know, and Stanhope game, I already know that, you know, Pratt was going to travel well for that. I know our community is going to come out and support these guys. They always do, especially a game like this, but I want to challenge our fans to have more people at the game than they have at the game. You know, I want to make that our home environment. So, you know, I want our fans to come there, and let's make that our home field as well. You know, come loud, come proud, and our guys are going to work hard for you, and they're going to play hard for the community.
We're taking the jungle on the road all year.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow night, it's just a little bit closer.
It's just a little closer, you know. So that's what we're looking for, man. That's the expectation that we're challenging the community. To come in there and pack it out.
That's awesome. Briefly, walk us through game day, starting in the morning. I know pep rally or breakfast, pep rally. What all's going on tomorrow?
Yeah, we have prayer breakfast tomorrow at Glenwood Baptist Church, man. And
Pastor James Jackson,
yes,
John Lock, those guys.
Yes, sir. And they've been there for us as well, as far as cooking for our team during camp and all that. We really appreciate Glenwood. But we'll go prayer breakfast there. Then we'll have a pep rally in the morning. Just speaking to Miss Jennifer about it, and she's already wired.
Got the plan ready.
Oh, yeah. So, you know, she makes sure I'm on point with that. So, pep rally. We'll have a couple walkthrough and meetings with the guys. They'll probably take, you know, we do a little test or whatever they have to take. And then they got to go, and they got to be a great student for a few hours. And that's the most important part. They got to be a great student and eliminate, as Coach Page talks to them all the time, eliminate emotional distractions. You know, eliminate those distractions, because they're out there. You got to stay focused. And then from there, we'll go to pregame meal. We'll go through our pregame process. The next thing you know, we're going to be on the bus ready to head to Millbrook.
And get on the field, get working, and the lights go on. Kick off at 7. Need the Lion Nation to come out.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Well, fans, we are so glad that you've joined us tonight for the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. It's been a joy to bring the show to you. Thanks to Coach Dickerson for coming by. Congratulations to KJ Blue being the Pepsi Buffalo Rock Player of the Week. Also, all the other sponsors, and we didn't touch on them tonight. I'll make sure we hit that next week, or do you want to?
I can do it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I want to thank our gold sponsors, Guthrie's. Guthrie's been very supportive of our program. We're really thankful for them. We're thankful for TNT Fireworks for being a gold sponsor. We're also thankful for Stivers for always stepping in and supporting our program, doing what they can. I want to thank Durbin Auto for everything they do. You know, those are our gold sponsors and our silver sponsors, and we're very appreciative of them.
Yeah, and this doesn't just happen. It takes a lot of money to make this program go, and I know, very thankful for those folks.
Yes,
so
sir. It does.
I'm glad you were able to bring that up. Well, fans, again, thank you for being a part of the show so much tonight. We'll look forward to seeing you across the interstate tomorrow night over at Stanhope Elmore as the Lions take on the Mustangs. Help them cheer on to a Lion victory tomorrow night. Well, fans, thanks for being here on Dixie Country 100.1 and also on the Prattville Live Network. You've been listening to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We'll see you next week.
Hey guys, it's Chris Britton, host of the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We're so excited to be coming to you live each week from my favorite Mexican restaurant, El Patron Mexican Grill, at 2152 Cobbs Ford Road, right across the street from Larry Puckett Chevrolet. They get a huge menu with all of your favorite authentic Mexican dishes. My kids love it. In fact, they get a free drink with their kids' meal, so that's an awesome perk. If you go on a Sunday after church, bring your bulletin with you, you get a 10% discount. My personal favorite is the chicken chimichanga. It's fantastic. El Patron Mexican Grill in Prattville.